today's training is going to be basically just a plan to kind of help people get up and running with their final expense business, whether you're a new agent, whether you're someone who's maybe just trying to get back on the right track or just kind of find a certain system to follow. That's basically what today is about, like I said. So if you're brand new, perfect. If not, I think you can still pick up some pretty good tips and some good pointers. Like I said, to just kind of help you get off on the right track for the year. So I have Chris Smith with me as well. Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
How's it going? Excited to be back. Excited for the first official Monday of the year and to get folks achieving what they set out to do.
Sounds good. Well, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be going over just how to get your business up and running. We're going to talk a little bit about ordering leads and working your leads and preparing to present. So pretty much all the steps from, let's just say that you just got your license and you're kind of wondering where to go from there. Again, just all the way from getting your business up and running, ordering leads, all the way up until the point that you are walking up to a house ready to sit down with somebody. And then maybe next week I'll go through the presentation.
Good one.
First thing I think is important, especially if you're brand new, you need to learn your carriers. I've always felt like the last thing you want is to walk into a house and you look uncomfortable, like you don't know what you're doing. You don't know much about the companies that you're representing. Again, I mean, it's good to have that support where you have people to call that can help you, but you have to do your job ahead of time. You gotta prepare, and you again learn the different carriers. Keep it simple. I think if you have one company that insures most of the people that you talk to, that would be a good company to lead with. Keep it simple where you're not shuffling around every single house trying to figure out who to place that business with. Another thing too, I've always felt like these different carriers out there, they do a lot for agents, and they do a lot to try to earn agents' business when it comes to different contests, when it comes to different incentives. And at least for me, that's something that's motivating. I like seeing where different companies are taking their trips and just other cash bonuses, awards, and things like that a lot of them offer. So if you're placing your business with 30 different companies, it really makes it difficult to achieve any sort of awards or any sort of accomplishments with any of the individual carriers. So I think it's good to maybe have a main focus and then lead with them. And then you can always have maybe 2, 3, 4 others for certain scenarios when you need them. And that's right here what we have here. Learn 2 or 3 other carriers for different underwriting scenarios that you may run into. And as time goes on, if you feel the need to add additional carriers, go for it. But I think when you're first starting out, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to overcomplicate it. I mean, I think it's hard enough to learn underwriting for one company, let alone 20. So keep it simple. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I absolutely completely agree. And one of my New Year's resolutions for this year, sounds kind of cheesy to say it that way, but it's just the way I'm joking about it, is to keep it simple carrier wise and to use a carrier that 100% of the time provides an instant decision. Now, there's going to be times where that's not going to work, where the right thing to do is something else. But it's 2024. Let's be realistic. You can write a piece of business, and that if the job isn't done and you don't have a decision, the job isn't done. So I'm trying to write companies as much as possible. They give me an instant decision. So the business is submitted, it's issued, and I'm going to get paid. Because I also don't have time to come home, follow up on pending business, track this, email that, follow up on that. That might work for some people, but I personally do not have the time to do that. And I have to recognize my strengths and weaknesses and lean on 100% instant decision when possible. Like you said also, what company wants your business? Now, of course, the bigger you are, the more important you are to them. But to some companies, you're never anything but just a number until you're doing 100 million a year. And we're talking to the personal producer here. There's plenty of good quality companies where you don't have to do 100 million a year to matter to them. Polish Falcon sent us all brochures, t-shirts, not t-shirts, polos, are taking feedback on brochures that we want for marketing purposes, improvements to the experience. Those kind of companies care. The big name brand companies have great products, but I mean, you're probably not in anything to them until you're billions of. You get the point.
Well, yeah, and I mean, not only that, but I think that the carriers out there, they want a good mix of business.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just want all of your modified business. They don't just want all of your credit and debit card business. If that's like the niche and the only reason that you use them, more than likely you're going to have pretty poor persistency and you won't be able to use that product for very long. So, I mean, that's, my prior company, we had some pretty good niches there when it came to like credit, debit. At the time, the modified rates are really good, but if agents were only using us for that, they weren't around long because again, the persistency was bad, the quality of business wasn't good, and I mean, they're not profitable unless they're getting that good mix.
Yeah, I think you're gonna say it because we've been doing this long enough to kind of know what you're gonna say next. But I'm gonna say it next in case you didn't. Learning your carriers also includes selling the product. Like you can sit at home the next 30 days and read the agent guide forward and back and memorize it like the Bible and still not know what you're doing until you physically sat down with the consumer, opened up your iPad, gone through the application process, submitted a piece of business, and then money showed up in your bank account. That's actually learning. And then you do that 100 more times, and then you've really developed proficiency at that carrier. So learning isn't just reading the agent guide and asking your upline the same incessant questions you could have figured out by yourself. It's selling the product. It's 50% you, 40% doing it, and then 10% upline resources, insurance toolkits, stuff like that. But you got to do it too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we'll be getting to some of that here too. So, uh, yeah, study the different carrier products and the agent guides, of course. Like you just mentioned, insurance toolkits. Uh, that's a no-brainer, in my opinion. It's $40 a month, which is about the cost of one lead.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, I mean, you're going to make a heck of a lot more money using and utilizing that toolkit. As I've said previously, I mean, my career for the most part has always revolved around one company. So when I branched out and all of a sudden I have many different options, I really needed to learn the different carriers, and the toolkit, I think, sped up that process of learning the different carriers and learning their different underwriting. Lots of times I don't even need to use it now, but I just kind of know the underwriting from learning it through them. But yeah, it definitely is a great tool that not only gives you the most affordable carrier, but it gives you the best option based on the person's age and based on their health. And at the end of the day, I mean, we really want to do what's in the best interest of our clients.
Absolutely. I think somebody asked me a question over the weekend, an underwriting question that 4 years ago I would have answered, but in the last 4 years, I put my brain into the app and the app will give you the answer. So subscribe to the app and get the answer. And I'll give away everything I can in my life in this business, but all that is in this app anyway. So I told the guy, I can't answer your question, but you can answer the question for yourself by signing up for insurance toolkits.
There you go. Yeah, it's seriously. I mean, like I said, I mean, it's worth the extra cost of one lead. And don't be afraid to contact your upline if you have questions, if you need help. That's what an upline is there for. I mean, an upline is there to help and support and do what they can. Whether you're with us, I know I have people on the call too that maybe are just with other organizations and stuff too. You want to make sure that the people that you're working with, they can add some value to your business and what you're doing. And I mean, if you're not learning anything from them, and if they're not doing anything to help you and support you, then maybe it's time to look around and see what else is available. But that's one thing I love with what we're doing, Chris. I mean, I think our agent engagement is probably better than just about any other group out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Monday morning call. We do our weekly trainings, the podcast, and we talk about all these different things. It's all there to help agents. It's all there so they have easy access. Like I've said, even when you're out in the field and you're running leads and you have appointments and you're in your car all day, I mean, the best way to use that time is to learn. And we have our podcast. You hop on the audio, you can listen to that. I listen to so much audio throughout the day that helps me to get better. So, I mean, I think that was really my main purpose behind doing that audio version of the podcast, is just so agents can have access to it and be able to listen to it while they're out in the field working all day. But like I said, bottom line, you got to be working with people that know what they're doing. So I've seen so many different organizations where they push people to recruit when they first got their license. They've been maybe contracted with the companies for like maybe a month, and then right away they're wanting you to bring agents on. It's like, how could you train somebody when you're just learning the business? So we have a lot of experience here too to help agents. I mean, I'm 21 years into the business now. I know you're going on like right around 9 years. So I mean, 30 years between the two of us. So, but like I said, line yourself up with people that know what they're doing, that add that value, and for sure can help you long term to be successful in the business.
Yeah, this is the season for shiny object syndrome, which is a fine line between, if your upline isn't helping you, you need to probably call us so that we can help you. Heck, I'll help you if you're not even in our agency, to help you at least make some money and pay the rent. I've done that for plenty of people in the business. But if your upline isn't answering the phone when you need it, are you also calling them? Like, there's so many different levels to this that's important. And also, like, are you putting in the effort? Like, this is a you battle part of it. You have to go out there, get yourself in front of people, and then call us and we'll help you finish the process. But don't just sit at home and complain that your upline never helped you if you never helped yourself. So understand, there's two sides of this conversation. We're always here to support you and help you survive in the business, but you got to jump in the pool before we can teach you to swim.
Well, yeah, like I said, we have so much when it comes to the agent engagement side of it, but at the end of the day, the agent has to take that first step. I mean, we don't know who needs help unless they let us know they need help. I mean, I'm not a mind reader.
No.
I try my best to kind of keep up with agents, but at the end of the day, the people that I talk to the most are the ones that are writing business, that are reaching out to me on a regular basis, and that are engaged with all the other stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, Waylon opened up the year by saying to the agency, I don't read minds. If you need something, please let me know so we can solve it. And I also tell people, be the squeaky wheel. If your upline actually cares about you and you're bringing stuff to their attention, they're going to help you solve that problem. But if I can't see you, I haven't heard from you, I don't know what's going on, I probably forgot. Like, the world is a very busy place. Bring your issues to our attention and we'll help you solve them as you learn and grow yourself.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, heck, we bring on a lot of agents. I mean, honestly, it's hard to keep up with everybody, but those that want our help, I mean, I'm going to answer my phone if I see someone calling, especially if I know that they're new. And heck, if I'm in a house helping somebody and then I have an agent that I know needs my help, I'm not afraid to get up and say, excuse me a minute, I have an agent that needs my help real quick, and people understand. So, we're there to help and support for sure. Now, moving on, if presenting in a home and your client has questions that you're unsure of the answers, same thing. Call your upline. I used to do this all the time when I first got in the business. People would ask me a simple question. It didn't really matter how simple it was. I was pretty new to the business and I didn't really know a whole lot then. They appreciated the fact that I said, well, you know what? I'm not quite sure, but let me call my manager so I can get a good answer for you. They'd rather get a right answer than someone that's just trying to make stuff up to make it sound like they know what they're doing. So, yeah, I used to call my manager all the time asking questions. I mean, heck, even when I first got going with all these different carriers, I'd be texting you all the time, Chris, just with different scenarios and questions and stuff like that outside of just using the toolkits. So,
but you were doing
don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah.
You were in the field, you were logging in, you were you were doing the things to help get there. That's so important with it. I think that sometimes people think when they're calling from the home, it's a sign of weakness, which it absolutely isn't. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. But what I always say to agents when they say to me they didn't write anything all day, they had a bad day or a bad week, the first thing I say to them, Adam, is you didn't call me. Like, realistically,
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing you actually went out there and sat in front of anybody if you didn't call me from the home. So I even said to somebody last week, instead of texting me after why it didn't work, don't do that. Call me while it's not working, and then we can figure out if there's anything we can do. But don't tell me after the fact what didn't work. But calling from the home is not a sign of weakness. When I was a paramedic, in many of the complicated protocols you would encounter, you would get to a certain point in the flow chart where it would say, call medical command physician, like an ER doctor. Like you actually are in the heat of the battle. You're trying to save someone's life. You're giving medicine. You're putting in an IV. You're doing all this stuff. And you get to a certain point, call the doctor. And then if the doctor says, yes, do that thing, you keep going. So in an ambulance, in the middle of a life-threatening situations, there's still spots to say, call your upline. Why can't you call your upline from the point of sale? It is not a sign of weakness.
No, like I said, I think the client appreciates it rather than you just sitting there trying to make up something because you're not quite sure. Call someone who you know is going to have the right answer for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even shoot a text to them. I mean, it's these days it's not too hard to get an answer when you need it. I mean, I even did it just something simple. It was not really that I needed help. Well, kind of. I mean, one of my buddies that works for State Farm. I mean, the person. Well, I'm considering State Farm, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to do a lot better when it comes to rates and probably be able to get you covered right away. Where they're probably not going to cover you right away because I know. I mean, their underwriting's pretty tough. And I said, well, I got a buddy that works for State Farm. I'll text them right now. And, I texted him, got the answer that I needed from him. But same thing, you just don't be afraid to get answers from people that can maybe help you even to make a sale. Excuse me. 4 things that I think are crucial to your success. Number 1 is money management. You can't spend all the money that you make. You gotta manage your money. You gotta be able to reinvest into your business, and consistently ordering and working leads. Working leads on a daily basis, ordering leads on a weekly basis, I think is crucial. We've talked a lot about that lately. Just the habits. Trying to create these habits where every single week. I have like an alarm on my phone every Monday. It goes off at 11 o'clock in the morning, right after this training that tells me to order leads. So again, just, you got to figure out ways just to make sure that you're always doing it. And just having some structure, learning a presentation, knowing what your day is going to look like, whether that's putting a route together and running leads all day, door knocking, whether that's having appointments set and working the door knock leads in between, learning a presentation. I just think that you look a lot better when you're in a home, when you're not just winging it. It helps you stay on point. And if you're ever deciding that you want to build and you want to grow, makes it a lot easier when you have something that's replicatable rather than just bringing a bunch of agents on and saying, go get them. We have a presentation that you can learn that, again, it's kind of a step-by-step sort of thing, but I've been using it for years. It works for me and it's really not that difficult to learn. So I just think it's good to have that structure. And like I said, I think if you run into a house with someone where they're a big talker, where it's like you're trying to do your presentation, but they just keep butting in and then they start talking about all this other stuff. It's hard to get back on point if you don't have anything to get back on point to.
Exactly.
So I think it's very important to learn a presentation. And next Monday, I'll be going through the presentation that I've been using for years. Work ethic. I've said so many times, kind of broken record, there's no sense in even coming on these trainings if you're not going to go out there and do it. What's the point in continuing to sit around and learn if you're not going to take action? If you can't get out of bed in the morning, maybe you need to get a 9-to-5 salary job where your boss says you got to be here at this certain time.
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined, but with that discipline, again, it's just the work ethic. You got to be willing to put the time in. I know you said on our morning call this morning, Chris, 40 hours a week. And to me, that's like minimum 40 hours a week. We got to put our time in. We got to catch people in the evening. We got to catch people on weekends. This is not your typical 9 to 5 job. And if you treat it like a 9 to 5 job, well, you're probably going to make a salary of someone that, maybe 9 to 5 or even less. You got to be willing to put that time in for sure.
Yeah, I gave 5 tips to have a successful week, something you could take into the field and just do. And then if you win January, you're going to by result win the rest of the year. That's the cool part about January is you can't worry about October, but if you do really, really well right now, October will fall into place. And the first tip I gave was work a 40-hour work week. It really isn't that complicated. Like most people that aren't writing enough business aren't seeing enough people to sell enough insurance. That's it. Like you will stumble your way into 3 to 4 lay down opportunities as an independent agent if you're just out there in the field. Really, that's it. There's going to be someone that knows they're going to die at some point in their life and they don't want to leave a bill. Somebody with some garbage captive insurance that you can upgrade. Somebody that just lapsed a policy and wants their policy back. And somebody who thinks you're a nice person and knows they need insurance and buys it from you. There's at least 4 of those in a 40-hour work week if you're out there working it. And you don't even have to be good at the presentation. You don't even have to be the expert at the carrier. You just have to freaking show up for 40 hours and work, and then eventually you get good at it. That's exactly what I did. I was not good at this. I was not personable. I didn't know how to small talk with people. I didn't know how to like warm up and build rapport, but I worked until it all figured itself out after following a set model in training.
There you go. And so I'm going to break it down just a little bit. Again, setting money aside is crucial if you want to have long-term success in the business. We need to have that constant flow of leads coming in on a regular basis to be successful. I don't think one of my trainings goes by. I was thinking about this morning. I don't think one training goes by that I don't say the word lead.
Mm-hmm.
Leads and work, like bottom line, that's it.
Work. Go to work. Next.
So, I recommend, to me, just to simplify this a little, open a separate bank account. You can call it your leads account. And these days it's so easy. You can even set up a lot of accounts where every time you receive a deposit, where it could be set up where it'll automatically transfer a certain percentage into the other account. And to me, if you can do it where it's automatic, that's the easiest way, because then you don't have to take the time to do it. And if you're doing it manually, well, to be quite honest, there's a chance that there's days that you're not going to do it. There's days you're not going to transfer that money over. But if it's automatic, you know for sure that it's going to happen. I think that it's a good idea to transfer 30% of every deposit into that leads account. Maybe 30% is a little high, but you know what?
Not when you're on a high contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to try to live on half of what you're earning. And what I mean by that, and that's because we have to invest into our leads. We also have to pay taxes. So you want to make sure that to set aside that money, so there's not going to be any surprises when it comes to tax time, and not going to be any surprises when it comes to you not having any leads coming in because you haven't had money to place those orders. So use the money in the leads account to place an order every week. And again, I mean, I'd say set up a separate checking account where you get a debit card, and that way the debit card is just automatically linked. I mean, you can be set up. Heck, I mean, we even have a system, Chris, where agents can order leads and just be set up on a recurring order every single week. They're just going to get charged, and more leads are just going to keep coming into them. So
Exactly.
With that, you set it up where the 30% is going into that account. You're never going to miss the money. It's always going to be coming in, and always going to be getting transferred over to that other account that's used for your leads, your expenses. And again, it's going to help you to have that steady flow of leads going on a regular basis. Everything's just kind of autopilot, which is the way to go.
Yeah. When I worked with different organizations in this industry over the last 8 or 9 years, that's always been a requirement of who I worked with, is autopiloting my direct mail. Like, I do not have time to call a vendor, to shop around, to look for territory, to place an order, to do all that stuff. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a mail house. I'm not a lead generating service. I'm a salesperson. I just need you to give me the people that I need to go talk to. Then I'll go talk to them. So every Friday, my card gets charged, leads arrive in the op system, and I go out and work them. Turn them over to the appointment setting service. They set the appointments. I do my thing. So having that autopiloted into the system is so critical. I want to also add to the money management thing 2 things. First off, nobody ever teaches us money management in life. Like, really? Like, did you learn money management, business operations, and accounting in high school?
No.
No, I didn't learn it in any of the degree or college stuff that I did. None of it. But if you need help with money management, ask somebody. I ask Waylon quite frequently money management questions on high-end financial issues. Because guess what? He makes a lot of money and probably had a similar issue before and knows what to do. I'm not ashamed to say I'm going to ask someone that makes more money what to do with this money. Even at the most basic level, if you don't have a budget, like a family budget, you have a problem right now. Go print out a budget sheet from the internet, Edward Jones or anyone that you can find, and write out a budget. And then if you know how much you need to make and how much you're spending, you can construct your goal around your budget. The $417 a month weekly goal that I create isn't just some fictitious number that sounded cool on paper. It was based off of my budget. And I know if I write this amount of business, I can pay this amount of bills, and everything else manages itself appropriately. So if you don't know what to do about money management, ask someone who makes more money than you in a humble sense, and have a budget so you know how much you need to make to survive in the business.
Yeah, wouldn't you say too, when it's all on autopilot, that you don't think about it as much? You're not thinking about how much money that you're spending on leads. The leads just keep coming in, and you still see your money in your other bank account. Just the other one, everything's automatic. To me, I feel like I do better when I'm not thinking about all the money I'm spending.
Absolutely. I think the less thinking and more doing is so essential, especially as you scale your business. Like, anybody can do this at the survival level, but if you're going to get to like this part and this part and this part, you have to automate, delegate, disregard certain responsibilities or things that just are not important. And the upline's responsibility in this industry is to supply you leads at the very beginning. That's the first thing they're supposed to do. Send you leads. Next is like carrier relationships and all that other stuff. But they can send it to you, we can send it to you, and then you can go out there and work them.
All right, let's move on here. Let's see what else we got here. So your first week, remember, just like what we're talking about, it takes money to make money. You have to invest more of your own money the first few weeks. The reason I say that too is because your first few weeks, well, if you're working direct mail leads, well, if I'm placing a lead order for today, let's say I want 25 direct mail leads, it's not like I'm going to be able to get those 25 leads tomorrow. Those 25 direct mail leads, more than likely, it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks, because the lead vendor, well, they're printing out the lead cards, they're mailing them out. We have to wait for the people to fill the card out and send it back, and then for the lead vendor to forward it back to me. So it takes a little bit of time. In the meantime, I'm going to need some other leads to work. So more than likely, I'm going to order like Facebook leads or just some other sort of lead to hold me over until those direct mail start coming in. So that's where your first, I would say probably at least your first 3 weeks, you're going to be kind of like doubling down on your expense, because you're ordering for now, but then you're also ordering for week 4. Week 2, you're also ordering for week 5. Week 3, you're also ordering for like week 6. So a little bit more of an investment when you first start. But again, once those weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 come, well, you already have a nice steady flow of leads coming in then. And that's really what you want. Get to that point where, like we talk about, then it's just on autopilot from there.
Yeah, we've got aged leads, age direct mail all over the country too. Oftentimes you could say, hey, I'm in Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, Chicago, St. Louis, Southern California. We probably got leads there for you to start on at a discounted price. And
I was wondering
we might even
what is the price on average, Chris?
well, the
Do
average
you
direct
know?
average fresh lead is around 40, but the average discounted direct mail can be 10, 15, 20, 30. And I've had situations where I had good conversations, good connections. Somebody did their contracting right away. And I'm like, hey, here's $200 of leads. Get you started and let's get going. We're willing to be creative with people with inventory we have in house when they're showing the initiative. But the initiative, again, is where you started the whole conversation. So there is going to be double dipping that's required in the beginning. But if you were to open your own Chick-fil-A franchise, your own McDonald's, what's the franchise fee to start that? Hundreds and thousands and
Yeah.
of thousands. It isn't $3,000. Like, let's be realistic. You're opening your own franchise location, and it costs a whole lot to do this than to open up another business.
And you're going to make that money back so quickly as long as you're willing to do everything else that we teach you. Uh, if you don't have money for leads, that's one thing too. And that's one thing that I'll run into is agents that maybe they're just coming from another scenario. Maybe they're already licensed. Maybe they were working somewhere else. They weren't successful. If there's if there's a will, there's a way. Is kind of how I look at it. I mean, I remember, man, I was probably 23 years old and I was totally overfinanced on leads. The company that I was working with, they did the lead financing, but they wouldn't give me any more leads because I was overfinanced. Unfortunately, when I was 23 years old, I had a lot going on that I really didn't take this, seriously compared to the way I do today. I was 23. I was just out screwing around too much. But at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to figure out a way to make some money. I had to figure out a way to make some sales so I could get back into getting more leads. It was either that or go find another job. And so, I mean, at the time, heck, I picked out a neighborhood that I already had direct mail leads in. I knew that people within that area were kind of all in the same boat. And so I just went one house to the next, little 30-second commercial at the door. All it took was one or two houses to get in and make a couple sales to kind of get back on track. But like I said, I mean, not everybody's willing to do that. But I always say that, some of this can be hard, but being broke is harder.
Yeah.
So, you got to figure out a way to make it happen. And if that means you knock on a few doors, heck, knock on a few doors. A lot of times when I've done that cold door knocking, I get more people that appreciate that I came by to let them know what I was doing, rather than the other side of it where people, slam the door in your face and stuff like that. They're actually thankful that I actually stopped by. So, let's talk about fast start to a warm market. And there's different ways to do this. I would say people that, let's just say, like I said, you're brand new, you're licensed, you don't have a whole lot of money coming in. Well, and I think I'll get to that in a minute. I think I do have a little bit about the lead program with the financing on here, but I wanted to talk about the warm market first. And what I mean by that, if you're brand new and you're just kind of learning anyways, you're learning your presentation, you want to get comfortable with this, put together a list of people that 15 people. I mean, how hard would that be to go through your phone and, 15 people that maybe would have a need for what you're looking to sell? And then from there, you contact them, let them know about your career, and just ask them if you can come by to practice. You're working on your presentation. And I mean, you'd be surprised the people that you'd sit down with that after you sit down and go through this, they're like, wow, that's really nice. I could actually probably use that. Especially these days, you think about income, people's money's not going as far. I think many more people need final expense insurance than ever before. We've always focused on like the low income when it comes to final expense. There's people making six figures that don't have an extra 15, 20 grand laying around in their bank account these days to pay for a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's where, you can work your warm market and you can find some business there. And then from there, you get those referrals. And just real simple, my company wants me to practice presenting to 15 people that I know to make sure I'm confident and ready to start selling to everyone. Would you be available for about 15, 20 minutes tomorrow so I can come by and practice my presentation with you? Most people, if you're friends with them or, close family friend, they're more than willing to help you. But like I said, I mean, you can even set a goal to write a certain amount of premium just off of the people that you know. And I feel like it's low pressure. You quote and you try to write a policy off them. If they are not in need, ask for referrals. Let them know how much referrals will really help you, being that you're just getting started. So maybe they don't have a need, but there's a good possibility they might know people that could use it. So doesn't hurt to ask.
I think some of the stuff you do in the very beginning sets such important habits for what you can do long term and really separates you from those that don't make it. Like willing to door knock an urban market if you don't have the money to get started on leads, heck, you're going to make it. Like I guarantee it. You're going to make it. If you're willing to 5 day a week door knock an urban market and say, "Hey, I'm Chris. I'm here helping the community out with on low income with affordable life insurance." You have a few minutes to talk about it. If you're willing to do that for 5 days, you're going to make it. If you're willing to reach out to your warm market and say, "Hey, I'm getting started in the insurance business. I need to practice my presentation," and you give that to 15 people that know you, you're going to make it. And then you'll learn how to pick up referrals. If you're willing to look at a map, go on Google and find senior centers, places where seniors in low income live in a 3-hour radius of your home, and go do a lunch and learn and survive in the beginning that way, you're going to make it. There's so many things you can learn in the very beginning that will take you to that next level and set the tone going forward.
Yeah,
Adam,
and
I'll
even if
also
you're working leads, sorry, Chris, I was just gonna say, and even if you're working leads, same thing. I mean, there's so much additional business out there. You lead with the leads, but then so much other additional business that can be written. And that's another training that we'll do in a couple of weeks. We'll do the presentation next week. The week after that, I'll put that on the calendar to just kind of talk about all the different opportunities that are out there outside of just working leads to generate additional business. But I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say, Chris?
Yeah, I also want to throw in the tip that we kind of field tested the last few weeks is the same way that you get started could also be the same way that you restart or survive if you've already been in the business and you're struggling. Instead of having to reach out to 15 friends and family, text 40 existing clients, and one of them, I promise, one of them will contact you back looking to get more coverage. I've done it. You've done it. Tyler on our group has done it. It works. Like if you're not working your book of business, guess what happens?
Someone
Somebody else
else's.
is. And if you need help restarting your business to restart the year, text and call existing clients, set up your first of the year reviews, and you will find more business.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote over 4,000 in premium last week that was just off of referrals and existing policyholders. So, there's definitely lots of business there. Same thing. Well, me doing this for as long as I have too, I have so many clients that I wrote $10,000 policies on where that was enough to be buried, but now it isn't. So now people are realizing that, wow, I need more coverage. I better do something. And so same thing. There's no better time than now to reach out to your existing book of business and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure you have enough coverage." Because I would hate to see something happen knowing that I helped you, but my help wasn't enough to cover everything. And same thing. I mean, the client, they appreciate you looking out for them. I mean, the last few weeks, I've been writing a lot of existing policyholders. So take advantage of your book of business and utilize it.
Even if somebody lapsed, as Adam gets the next slide set up, don't think they
Yep.
lapsed because they didn't want insurance. They didn't like you. They don't think they're going to die anymore. 1 out of 4 pieces of business, 1 out of 4 clients, 1 out of 4 humans that have fallen off the books with you will get back on the books if you get back in front of them as a restart opportunity for your career.
Well, one thing with lapse policyholders, Chris, I think a lot of times people whose policies lapsed, they don't even realize that their policy lapsed. They had no intention of their policy lapsing. They took the insurance out for a reason. They didn't take it out to pay for it for 3 months and then let it go. Things happen, but we got to keep up with our clients. Same thing. They appreciate you looking out for them. These days, they're not they're not responding to text messages. Sometimes they might not answer the phone. Even there's some companies that might call them if they're behind on their payments. But if they're not picking up and answering, how are they going to know? Their policy lapses, and then they're right back to square one. So keeping up with your business is also crucial. And set a goal, like we talk about with this warm market, especially like I said, if you're brand new, set a goal of writing 3,000 to 5,000 in premium your first week off of your warm market. If you're going to sit down with 15 people that you know, man, I know you could probably write at least 1 out of 3 of them. So right there, if you're writing, that would be 5 sales out of the 15 people that you talk to. And that's right there. I mean, that's going to be between 3,000 and 5,000 in premium. So not too difficult, but talk about a great way to get some business coming in right off the bat, even without leads. And now you got, heck, there's your lead money. You might not even have to finance leads. So, we talked about the cold door knocking a little bit. Practice doing neighborhood enrollments. Best areas that I think are those that would be considered middle to low income, where the houses are close together. I mean, you don't want to work a rural area where, I mean, it would be pretty difficult where you're a half a mile apart between houses or something. I mean, we're talking about, a neighborhood where everything, where I could go up and down that block and it probably takes me under an hour to go up one side and down the other side. That's the type of neighborhood. And we've tested this actually last year. We had an agent that all he did was cold door knock, and we averaged it out at for every 40 doors he knocked on, he made 1 sale. So that's whether the person answered the door or not. Every 40 doors he knocked on, he made 1 sale. So we figured, minimum someone that does that should be able to make 2 sales a day. If they're putting that time in. Same thing, like we said, it's hard, takes time. It'll also be good exercise.
Yeah.
And you're going to get in some houses. So there's ways to do this even without leads. First company I worked with, the owner, CEO of the company, he used to call me once a month. And he'd always ask me, Adam, have you been doing some neighborhood enrollments? I know you're working leads, but there's business out there outside of the leads. He's like, knock on some doors, and then next month I'm going to call you back and you can let me know how you did. So, well, I mean, Adam, people see the value in it.
Yeah, I did the math on it just for fun and not to interrupt you. But if you're knocking on 40 doors and every 40 doors equals 1 sale, and every 1 sale is $75 a month, which is our agency's average premium, that means every single door was worth $20. Like, if you just think of it that way, like every single door I knock, I'm making $20. Of course, I got to find the sale to get it, but each door is worth $20. That's easy. Like, you don't even have to worry if they were there, if they said no, if they said yes. It's just, I got to get to 40 because every one of them was worth 20 and every 40 equals 1 sale.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Every door I knock on, I'm going to make $20. So the more doors I knock on, yeah, that's an awesome way to put it. I like that, Chris. And this is the way that I do it. Simply go to the door. Hi, my name is Adam Brsan, and I'm a benefits coordinator licensed with the state of Illinois. I've been assigned to do a neighborhood enrollment for a state-approved final expense program that will pay your family up to $50,000 in the event of your death to cover your funeral expenses. I just need about 5 minutes of your time to see what you'll qualify for. Can I come in? And sure. It's as simple as that. Now, actually, one of the companies, American Amicable, they have a free accidental death benefit policy that I will actually throw that in on the script a little bit. I'll let them know that, for sitting down, I'm able to offer you a free $5,000 accidental death policy. So that's something too. Any agents that have questions about that, let me know. I'd be happy to kind of go through that with you. But it's just a way to get referrals, honestly. But it is something that is offered that is free to the client for the first year. It's a free $5,000 accidental death policy. So, and that, again, just another way to maybe get in the door on a house that maybe without offering it, you wouldn't have. So, then Another thing you can do, I mean, again, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you can get a list. Uh, List Shack is one. Now, this is something, well, I mean, I think you'll probably still be able to get the list. I think, we talk about all these new FCC regulations and rules. What they say that begins like in April, I think, where people
Coming
are
pretty
not going to
soon.
be able to, yeah, people are not going to be able to call like aged leads anymore. Um, but I mean, heck, I mean, there's no rules against door knocking
No.
unless there's like rules within a neighborhood or something. So, someone told me that, God, my first year, actually, I uh I was a captive agent for about maybe 6 months with Mutual Omaha when I first got in the business. And someone at that office back then, I mean, the do not call list was like just becoming a thing. And I remember this guy telling me, he said, yeah, there's a do not call list, but there's not a do not knock list. So I kind of look at it the same way. You can get these lists, these aged leads. There's no rules against door knocking them. Maybe you can't call them, but you can still show up at their house. So just another way to look at it.
Yeah, if they said that as of June it was illegal to call anybody, would you decide you couldn't make it in the business, or would you find a new way to make it in the business? Like, you just have to be willing to do a little bit more, especially in the very beginning. Otherwise, you're never going to make it.
Yeah. Um, so so your first 4 weeks, remember, I talked about the first 3 weeks are going to be a little bit more, a bit larger of an investment because, like I said, week one, you're buying leads for week 1 and week 4 with the direct mail net. But anyways, yeah, weeks 1 through 3, what I recommend doing right off the bat, order 30 Facebook leads and 20 direct mail leads, or at least do a 1,500 piece lead drop. And then any sales that you make, you want to transfer that 30% or set it up on the autopilot. 30% of every commission earned into that separate bank account, your leads account for future lead orders. So that would be your first 3 weeks. By week 4, you should have direct mail leads coming in by then. So then at that point, I would continue placing direct mail lead orders weekly. And in time, you can increase that lead order to 25 leads a week, up to maybe 30 leads a week. You're going to build up that inventory of direct mail because you're not going to reach every single person that first week. You're going to build up that inventory, but that's a good thing. You're better off to have more than enough people to catch up with than not enough. So now, if direct mail leads are coming in slowly, then I would recommend to place another Facebook lead order. Remember, the Facebook leads we're talking about, those are for today. The direct mail order, that's for like 3-4 weeks down the road. And then just continue to place 30% of each commission, transfer it over into that separate leads account. So it's there for your future lead orders. Would you say this is pretty consistent with how you do it too, Chris, when it comes to leads? Just, or at least I know with a direct mail, every
Yeah.
week you have that order coming in.
Yeah. If you contacted me today and say you'd like to come on board, full bore, no stops, all in kind of stuff, I would send you the lead agreement form. You sign up for the lead program. They'd start charging a deposit. And then I would not sign you up. I'd give you access to the opt program and say, are there any leads in opt that you want? If you said no, we'd find you leads elsewhere. And we'd expect like that in between period to get started so that in the first 3 weeks, it's digital or aged mail. And then in week 4, those leads start coming in on Friday. You can dial them on the weekend and start working them on Monday.
Yeah, there you go. And like I said too, and then that warm market.
Mm-hmm.
I think so many people are afraid to talk to people that they know about what they do. And like I said, heck, 15 people, you make 5 sales right off the bat. You don't have to talk to anybody else that you know, but you're probably going to want to keep talking to people that you know if you're making 5 sales a week just off of, your warm market. So
They
now,
should they should at least know that you do the business. Like, even if they don't buy insurance from you
yeah,
today, it's hypocritical that they don't know that you do it. Like, what if somebody that important to you died and then someone called you and said, "Well, we knew you were in the business. Did they have insurance?" And then you have to say to someone who's important to you, "No." It's hypocritical. Like, They don't have to buy, they just have to know that you can help them. And then over the course of time, they're going to come to you for help too.
So what if there was an easier way? We talk about working the warm market. We talk about, really having to, if you think about it, what a Facebook lead order for 30 leads, I've spent 1,100, 1,200 on 30 Facebook leads. So, right there, 30 Facebook leads, 20 direct mail, you could easily be looking at close to $2,000. That's just in 1 week. So, if I have a new agent that they don't really have those sort of funds available, because really you're looking at a good 6,000 to 8,000. And if we're talking about doubling up on leads those first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, what if there was an easier way, for those that maybe don't have those sort of funds available? Well, the great thing about what we have going, we invest into leads for you too, as long as you're willing to get to work. It's a lead financing program that we have. You contract through my agency with the carriers that are selected with the program. We don't have a ton of different carriers on that program. I don't feel like it's necessary. Again, like we talked about earlier, a go-to carrier and then maybe 2 or 3 others. And that's really all you need. Every week you receive 20 to 30 leads in your area, direct mail leads at zero upfront cost to you. So we get the lead orders going for you as they come in. All you got to do is go out and work. You don't even have to focus on the money that's being spent for the leads. When a sale's made, half of your earnings are going to go towards the upfront lead cost. And then the other half is going to go straight into your bank account. So again, to me, this is the sort of program where it helps where you can stay completely focused on just having to go out and work. You don't have to focus on the marketing side of it. It's a lot when you first get going and you're brand new and right away you're having to think about ordering leads and all these other steps. Heck, if you got people like us that can do all that for you, and we put the leads in your hands, and the only part that you have to worry about is going out and work every single week, rinse and repeat. I've had agents that they get on a program like this, they start making pretty good money and they just stay on the program. They don't want to move off of it and have to pay for the leads themselves. It works for them. And like I said, I think it's more of a comfort thing and it's a convenience thing. Being able to just focus on going to work every day, knowing that those leads are coming in and you don't even have to worry about like I said, like the marketing side of it.
Yeah, with the lead finance program, with training, with support, with engagement, with resources, with experience, people have to really not want it to not make it with what we have to offer. And that's just simply things that we came up with to increase the opportunity for success. Like this, nobody makes any money off of you being on the lead finance program. That's not how this works. Nobody makes any money off of you on our regular lead program. Definitely not how that works. It's just different ways to increase the opportunity of success, because that's all that we want. We don't want to work with people that don't work out. That's a waste of everyone's time and emotional energy.
Yeah. And, and again, once that balance is cleared, it takes about maybe 1 or 2 sales every week. Once your balance is cleared every week, then you'll see those full commissions. So like I said, it's just a way to have that steady stream of leads coming in where you're not having to fork out figure $6,000-8,000 right out the gate before you might not even have that. Like I said, a lot of times people come to me from other organizations where maybe they failed and they're struggling and they don't have a whole lot of money. So I like this because it gives, if I feel like someone's got that motivation and drive and the only thing holding them back is the money, well, I'm willing to take that gamble on them and I'm willing to finance them and see what we can do to help them be successful long-term. Because I've seen it too. Heck, if you can put someone in a good situation and then they're successful, they came from struggling to rock bottom, and you can help them be successful and invest in them like this. Then you find some good people that are going to stick with you for life. So, that's my goal, really. We're trying to build this organization with a lot of camaraderie and with the agent engagement that we have, where people want to stick around and they don't want to run off to other places. The more we can do to help people, why would they want to go anywhere else?
Yeah. Now, the lead finance program, Adam, that's not for like part-timers that want to sell on a Saturday afternoon, right?
No,
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 that's
that
not
would be, yeah. You have to be willing to, again, we're talking 20 to 30 leads every week. So
that's yeah, it's not for someone that wants to pick up a few contracts just to create a broker relationship and then finance the leads for the few contracts they have with you either, right?
no, I mean, I have plenty of agents that are, they're writing pieces of business here and there. They're not like your 100% all in, uh, consistently ordering leads every week. That's fine. But people that would be on a program like this, yeah, those are the full time, 100% all in, with us. And, and then, you give us 100%, we're going to give you 100%.
Yeah,
So,
this lead finance is a very exclusive program that almost no other marketing organization has unless you're signing captive LOA agreements to get it. This is a really exclusive opportunity for the right type of person. But if you have the drive, we have the resources to help you make it.
yeah, and like I said, we keep it simple. You don't need 20 different carriers. We make it where you have enough where you're not going to have to walk away from business. And that's all you need. So let's talk about just a few appointment setting tips, and then just a few more things, and then we'll be done. Appointment setting tips. I think it's good to use first names only. I think that you sound a lot less salesy, a lot less telemarkety. Like if someone calls and they ask for Mrs. Jones right away, it sounds like a salesy pitch. I always use first names. And I think make calls every day. Now, again, I try to do things, or I feel like I do things a little bit different than a lot of people out there. Like you might see on here where I say make calls every day, including Sunday from 8 to 9 o'clock at night, no earlier. Well, if you think about it, if your phone's ringing between 8 and 9 o'clock at night, the likelihood that you're going to pick up is probably a lot higher than if someone's calling in the middle of the day and right away you think it's some sort of telemarketer calling. A lot of our clients, even if they're home all day, they may have grandkids that they're watching all day. Figure 5 o'clock at night, they're making dinner, whatever. But by 8 o'clock at night, they're usually just kind of hanging around, relaxing, watching TV. It's a good time to call. And then in the morning, I'll call at 9 in the morning to 10 in the morning, usually on my way to maybe my first stop. Any leads that I couldn't get a hold of the day before. And you can, when you're working direct mail too, it's nice. You can set appointments by the hour because everything is close together. We're talking about direct mail where you're able to get those leads all within like 1 or 2 zip codes. So, I mean, every single lead is like 2 minutes apart from one another. So you set them up on the hour, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, all the way to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're not going to fill up every single spot. Maybe you will, but in the meantime, in between those appointments, that's where you can door knock the people that you were not able to get a hold of, to set those appointments on. Forever, I was so about just door knocking leads, and I did very well, but I definitely see the value in appointment setting, and I've been utilizing it over the last year or so just to kind of have a little bit more structure. I've always said I really love having. I don't have a 9 o'clock spot on here, but I really like having a 9 a.m. appointment. And if that's the only one booked for the day, it's fine with me because that 9 a.m. appointment that got me out of the house, and then I'm out in the field all day. Where if I don't have that early appointment set, I mean, I have 4 kids. We got a lot going on, getting the kids ready to get out of the house and everything else. And sometimes that holds me back and I might not get out of here until 9:30, 10 o'clock or something. So I like having that real early appointment to get me up and out, and it extends my day and gives me more opportunities to make some sales. And then, like I said, so, fill in the gaps by door knocking leads. If you get rejected too over the phone, that doesn't mean that the person doesn't want to talk to you. That just means they didn't want to talk to you on the phone. So plan on stopping by to see that person 2 days later. And they're not even going to realize it was the same person that they talked to over the phone. I've done it many times. People could be mean and nasty over the phone, not giving me the time of day, and I show up and they're the nicest people in the world, and they let me in the house and I make a sale. So don't just think if someone is mean and hang up on you over the phone that they're not interested, because they're pre-programmed to just be like that on the phone. They're so used to people calling them, telemarketers all day. I feel bad for seniors when I'm in a home and their phone's just ringing off the hook. It's like one salesperson after another. So, I mean, I understand their frustration. So just think about that and just remember, if they're mean and nasty over the phone, well, that's because they're being bombarded with phone calls all the day, but they're not being bombarded by people showing up at their house.
Yeah, I got 2 quick tips on this for the sake of time. First being, my favorite time to dial is from 6:30 to 8:30. Like after I'm finished my sales day, if I need to fill in for a failure on the appointment setting team side, which can happen, no one's perfect, is I'll dial on the way home from the field. Not incredibly safe, but is what it is. I'll pick up my leads and I'll start dialing and I'll start setting appointments on the ride home, because I got about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes longer ride home from the field. And I'll be able to fill the next day dialing from 6:30 to 8:30. Another great dial time, Sundays from 4 to 8 p.m. You take a break for dinner, spend it with your family. I'd encourage you to do so, but then go back to your office, pick up your leads and set appointments. I have in the past set appointments for 3 and 4 different agents from Sunday from 4 to 8 p.m. So I know it works. Saturday, 8 a.m. until noon. Great time to set appointments for Monday. There are so many great times. Heck, any time is a great time if you actually do it. But it's the people that sit there and talk about it, what script, what time, what day, just do it. And then get in front of the people. Here's another one. If you feel like you have a problem getting out of the house on time, we have a built-in safety net for that. It's our morning training. Every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. Let's just say 9 a.m. We have a call from 9 to 9:30. If you leave your house before the call starts, I guarantee you'll get in the field on time. Guarantee it, because that's what I've always done for 8+ years. It was unacceptable for me to be in the home when that call starts. Now I'm running the call. It's a little bit different, but that's like your launch point. Like 9 a.m., if you're not leaving your home in the field, already in the field, you got a problem. And if you do that for a month and you develop that tendency that says, I got to be there by the time this starts or leave my home, you'll create another good habit for the year.
Well, and again, too, talking about the morning call, Chris, I mean, you could have a really bad day, but you got to get up the next morning and do it again. It helps to kind of have that call in the morning, a little motivation to kind of get back on the right track to start your day off right, and just kind of brush off that maybe the day prior that maybe didn't go as well. So I think that it's good to hop on there, and same thing. It's just there to help agents pick up some good ideas, and like we talk about the agent engagement. There's if an agent is saying that communication was bad with our organization, I'd be like, are you sure you're talking about our organization? Like, there's so many different ways to communicate amongst the group and everybody else. So, but yeah, definitely, I think that it's great. Good point, Chris, to make sure to get on that call in the morning. Anybody has questions about that, let me know, and I can forward the information about the morning call that is 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time.
Yep.
And we can get you the info to hop on that every morning.
Adam, we even have people at Mountain and Pacific Time that dial in at 6 and 7 a.m. And that gives them such an even better start to the day, because then by 7:30, they're working on admin tasks. They're leaving their home by 8:30. If there's a will, there's a way. And whatever time it says on the clock isn't an excuse.
Yep. I'm going to just kind of blow through these. We're kind of a little overtime, but that's all right. These are just some lead pieces. This is a direct mail lead. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. The direct mail lead phone script, I'll go through real quick. Hello, Mary. Yeah, my name is Adam Brsan, and I'm a state licensed underwriter calling about the yellow request card I received back from you that you had just sent in. I just needed to verify a few things with you real quick. You put down that you are 57 years young. Is that correct? And I have your address is 1350 Park Lane. Is that still correct? Okay, great. And I know that your phone number is correct because I'm speaking to you right now. And then I'm going to be in your area tomorrow to go over your benefits. And I just need to see if 10 a.m. works for you. Okay, I also have an opening at 2:30. Is that better? You just keep trying for the time until they agree to the time. And then, okay, great. It will only take a few minutes to go over what you qualify for to take care of you. Is your address a house, apartment, mobile home? What color is it? Any cars outside? It's just good to kind of have that information. Just so you know, it's me. I'll have my state ID badge with me, and I'm, you can describe yourself. So I'm easy to spot. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at what time again? I like to throw it back at them rather than telling them what time. They told me 10 a.m. would work earlier. So, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at what time again? And then they're going to tell me. So then maybe that it helps them to remember when they're going to be meeting with me. And then great, have a great day. See you tomorrow. So it's as simple as that. Same thing. My scripts, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to send you I have the scripts. I have the appointment and, tips to help out in the field, how to prepare while you're out in the field. The program that I use is called En Route, which is in the App Store or Google Play. I think it's like $5 or $6 a month. I know there's Road Warrior. There's a few others. En Route, I think, does everything the others do. And it's, like I said, it's like $5 or $6. I can store so many different points in there, so many different leads. I like it because I can color code like the different pins on the map. So that way, if I'm in an area, maybe I made a sale in a house, I can change that pin to green. It'll still be on the map. And then the next time I'm in that area, I can see it. And if I have a few minutes, I can always drop it on my client while I'm out there. So En Route is very good. Notability. I put all of my leads in Notability. All of my direct mail leads makes it a lot easier to be able to sort through the leads. I know, Chris, I think you still do, or at least you have the hard copies. I don't anymore. All I do, I show people the lead right on my iPad. Yeah. Yeah, I know you do. I just show them right on the iPad and it's fine. It helps me to stay organized where I'm not shuffling through leads all over the place. And, but when the leads arrive, get on the mapping program and put a route together with all your leads through En Route. And, you can add in multiple addresses. You could add in 30 leads. So maybe you just got your leads and you don't have any appointments set yet. Well, get out in the field, put a route together, go out and see the people and put the leads in order once the route is optimized for the fastest time. That's what I like about these mapping programs. I mean, I've been using them for years where that way you're not going from point A to point Z to point Q. Like it's going to give you the fastest route. It's going to save you a ton of time and end up making you a lot more money. And, begin the route and you just stop by each lead. So, someone commented, in your area, you're still seeing people face to face. Well, of course, why would we not be? Heck, I mean, I think more and more people, once the FCC regulations take effect, I think you're going to see a heck of a lot more people back out in the field. I think telesales is going to be very difficult. Like live transfers, I don't even think is going to be a thing. So yeah, I mean, why would we not want to be out in the field? I think we're ahead of the game still being in the field.
Yeah. Telesales is fine, but telesales is a different version of the same restaurant. Like, let's not be unrealistic here. Telesales isn't any easier. It's just as expensive. It requires more focus on persistency, higher amounts of money on tech. Like, it's not any easier. And I think we've learned that a lot the last 3.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think you have to invest a lot more money in leads to make a sale over the phone than face to face. You got it because you have, again, people don't answer their phones. You just have a lot more context that you have to make. So, done a lot better out in the field for sure. Now, if the lead's not home, very simple. Make a note on the lead of what time you were there. Once you've run through all of your leads, put another route together. And with the leads that you weren't able to get a hold of. I think it's good to maybe separate your leads into different categories. You know, if you have like a case that you keep your leads in, you could separate them that way. Or like in Notability, I'll have different like folder set, my AM leads and my night and weekend leads. So if I don't reach people during the day, I try a number of times, just can't get them. Well, then I'll try them after 5 o'clock. I'll try them on a Saturday. Sooner or later, you're going to catch them. It's just a matter of, again, it's like putting pieces to a puzzle together. You know, trial and error. Sooner or later, you're going to get it right. But you never give up on them. You know, you talk about even age, direct mail leads, stuff like that. I mean, heck, we know how it is. When you have that steady flow of leads coming in on a regular basis, well, you're going to start working the new leads. The old ones, they kind of fall on like the back burner, and we try to get to them when we can. But yeah, separate them, you know, and into, you know, a couple different categories, and it's just going to save you a lot of time. What to wear? Business casual. You don't want to look like, you know, you don't want to be intimidating. I think showing up, you know, in a suit, coat, and tie is a little overboard for final expense. They might think you're a detective showing up. So I think it's good to keep it business casual, keep the client comfortable. Like I said, don't look intimidating. What to take up to the door, anything you need to sell a policy. It's funny. I had an agent tell me, well, I like to show up and I pull in the driveway and I keep my door open. And yeah, and I just, you know, I keep my door open and I walk up to the house. And if they want to see me, I go back to the car to get my case. And I'm just thinking, man, if I was a person and an agent showed up at my house like that and they had to go back to their car, I'd probably shut the door and not let them back in. So, I mean, no, you walk up to the door with whatever you need to make a sale. Not that difficult. Yeah, I mean, I have my small little leather portfolio case and my iPad. The case holds some brochures and some business cards. And that's really all you need. Keep it simple. Don't make it look like you're spending the weekend there.
Yeah.
You know, just a little case and keep it simple.
Yeah, I have the tiniest little bag here that it gives me everything that I need to get the job done, but I'm not coming back and forth to the car. In an urban environment, you might have parked 3 and 4 blocks away. There's no going back to the car. And it just, the more time you waste, the less money you make.
All right. And we're just about done. I know we've gone a little bit over, but that's all right. Door knock approach. Hi, Mary. I'm Adam Brsan. I'm a state licensed underwriter, and I have your request you sent in to us a little while back. Show them the card. I have a little time before my next appointment. It should take about 10 minutes. May I come in? I mean, just keep it simple. You're showing them the card. They know what it's about. You don't need a 5-minute commercial at the door. Like, they know what it's about. You're there. The purpose of showing up is to get in the house. So keep it simple. If they have questions, then you can come back with the proper answers. But I keep it simple and straight to the point. Let them know it's only going to take about 10 minutes. Can I come in? And then for future trainings, hop on adambrsan.com. You can sign up and be added to our mail list, and you will receive an email every week of future future trainings. And go to adambrsan.com for additional training, step-by-step training, presentations. Actually, right now, your best bet, this is all under construction. I would say your best bet for any of these presentations and scripts, just shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I think my information's on here at the end. And then go to YouTube. All of this stuff is on YouTube as well. I load these every week, as well as the different podcasts Chris and I do. The audio version that you can get on Apple, on Spotify, on Amazon, on just all the different Spotify things. And then, all the different podcast avenues. And then as well as YouTube for the video versions. So thank you, Chris, for coming on again this morning, kind of going through this with everybody. And this is my information. Like I said, if you want a copy of the scripts, or if you're interested even in maybe doing some business together, if you are a prospective agent that hopped on this morning, shoot me an email or hop on my website and submit an inquiry. I'd be happy to set up a call with you and see if you'd be a good fit for what we're looking to do, and we'd be more than happy to do what we could to try our best to help set you up for long-term success. So, like I said, thanks again, and I hope y'all have a great week. And we'll see you again next week. We'll be going through a presentation that I've been using for the last 15 years, I would say, that has helped me to make a lot of sales. Just a step-by-step process, and we'll go through that, and hopefully it'll help you as much as it's helped me over the years. So, thanks again, and we'll see you then.
See you then.